In an interview with Anderson Cooper on 60 Minutes this past weekend, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez proposed the 70% marginal income tax rate. I'll explain what that is in a minute, on the nation's highest earners to fund new initiatives to stop climate change.
People are going to have to start paying their fair share in taxes.
But since that interview aired, there's been mass confusion or mass conflation over her idea and the way the federal income tax works, like House Republican Whip Steve Scalise, who claimed the plan as a broad-based tax hike, tweeting that it would, quote, take away 70% of your income and give it to leftist fantasy programs. Not quite, Steve. But he wasn't the only one. Grover Norquist, president of Americans for Tax Reform, who researches tax policy for a living, likened the plan to slavery, tweeting, slavery is when your owners take 100% of your production. Democrat Congresswoman Ocasio-Cortez wants 70%. Slavery, Grover? To be clear, Ocasio-Cortez's proposal would only tax that part of your income that exceeds $10 million at 70%, not the entire amount. The rest would be taxed at lower rates, and it would only affect about 16,000 Americans total, according to 2016 data. Plus, it seems neither Norquist nor Scalise have ever taken a history class, because had they would know that towards the end of World War II, the top tax rate was once far higher. In fact, under Presidents Franklin Roosevelt and Harry Truman, you ready for this? The marginal tax rate progressively increased until it reached a high of 94% in 1944 and stayed there for 2 years. Dropped off only slightly in the 50s and 60s, but never below 60%. Of note, economists say that period was one of strong economic growth. And when Ronald Reagan became president in 1981, we all know what came next.
When I sign this bill into law, America will have the lowest marginal tax rates.
Now, that was the day he signed the Tax Reform Act of 1986, which cut taxes by 42% over 4 years. As a result, the top tax bracket has hovered between 30 and 40% ever since, and currently sits at 37% post-Trump's tax bill. In a column for the Washington Post, analyst Jeff Stein crunched the numbers on Ocasio-Cortez's proposal and found it would generate close to $720 billion in additional tax revenue over a decade. A massive chunk of money that could fund universal college tuition, or wipe away more than half of the student loan debt in America, or make a dent in Trump's trillion-dollar infrastructure plan, or show we're finally serious about saving the planet. Even Trump's Rasputin, Ann Coulter, tweeted her agreement with Ocasio-Cortez when she wrote, "Start with the Koch brothers." I can't believe I'm saying this, but Ann, you may be onto something. So before Americans dismiss the idea as radical claptrap, let's do something really radical. Get our facts straight.